In this video, we'll discuss the pros and cons of inbreeding in the Holstein breed. As the inbreeding coefficient has risen, we've lost genetic variation as heterozygosity has decreased. Now, there are some pros, including higher milk yield, but there are also a lot of cons, including lethal alleles and lower fertility rates. Penn State has recently discovered that the entire United States Holstein breed comes from only 2 bulls. That's 2 Y chromosomes in our nation's cattle. They've also discovered that there's only 35 unique female lineages for them to come from. In the whole nation's cattle, that's not very many unique lineages. They'd actually be an endangered species if you considered each unique lineages of an individual.
The dairy industry started out with 3 bulls, and one was culled out because of lethal alleles. That bull's name was Star. When you would mate him to normal cows, these lethal alleles would not come out phenotypically. However, when you mate him to one of his daughters, these lethal alleles would come out phenotypically. The lethal alleles that were present caused calves to have vertebrae issues where they could not live outside the womb, and stillborn calves were born with an autoimmune disorder. Star and his descendants were soon culled out of breeding operations since these issues did not come present until after a few generations of inbreeding. We also see that the inbreeding rate has an effect on pregnancy rates. In the 1960s, the pregnancy rate was 34%, but then, come 2000s, the pregnancy rate had dropped to 24%.
For the past 19 years, we have seen a steady increase in milk yields per cow. In 2000, one cow produced an average of 18,197 pounds of milk per cow. In 2019, the average cow produces 23,505 pounds of milk per cow. This calculation adds up to about a 22.5% increase from 2000 to 2019.
Wow, these are some real athletes.
Genetic testing has proven that all dairy cows in the U.S. come from 2 sires. Semen evaluation from long-dead sires has found 2 sires that aren't related to either of the originals. Using frozen semen, embryos were created and implanted into surrogate heifers. In 2017, 15 calves were born, 7 of which were male. These 7 males could bring new diversity to the dairy industry. To demonstrate this, we have our 2 original bulls. Over time, their genetics have been mixed and diluted. By adding new alleles, we add some much-needed variation, which might be the key to reducing the inbreeding of future dairy cows. Next, Owen will explain why adding allele diversity is important for the dairy industry.
Now we will demonstrate what inbreeding in the dairy industry can look like using a cup of white milk and a cup of blue food colored water, which will represent our sire and our dam. So when you breed the blue sire with the milk, which is our dam, you create the offspring. Now, if you would inbreed these and breed this offspring with the same sire that it is out of, you can see that we have a more concentrated level of genes because of the inbreeding.
The dairy industry is a prime example of how the lack of genetic variation can be beneficial and detrimental. It can be beneficial as we have seen higher milk yields per cow, and detrimental as inbreeding has caused a lack of further genetic potential.